जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्री रामनवमी महामहोत्सव की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातम् अहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 22, 1-3-22. If you want to pick, it is Srimad Bhagavatam 1-3-22. Naradevatvam Apanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryani Ata Param Naradevatvam Apanna Naradevatvam Apanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryani Ataparam Chakre Viryani Ataparam Naradevatvam Apanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryani Ataparam Naradevatvam Apanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryani Ataparam Naradevatvam Apanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryani Ataparam Naradevatvam Apanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryani Ataparam
Naradevatvam apanna
Naradevattvamāpanna
Surakarya chikirsaya
Surakarya chikirshaya
Samudra nigrahadini
Samudra nigrahadini
Chakre viri anyatah param
Chakre viryani atah param Naradevattvamāpanna Surakarya chikirshaya Samudra nigrahadini Chakre viryani atah param Naradevattvamāpanna Surakarya chikirshaya Samudra nigrahadini Chakre viryani atah param Naradevattvamāpanna Surakarya chikirshaya Samudra nigrahadini Chakre viryani atah param Naradevattvamāpanna Surakarya chikirshaya Samudra nigrahadini Chakre viryani atah param Naradevattvamāpanna Surakarya chikirshaya Samudra nigrahadini Chakre viryani atah param. Word to word meaning. Nara, human being. Devatam, divinity. Apanna, having assumed the form of. Sura, the demigods. Karya, activities. Chikirshaya, for the purpose of performing. Samudra, the Indian Ocean. Nigrahadini, controlling, etc. Chakre, did perform. Viryani, superhuman prowess. Ata param, thereafter. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama. In order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, he exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheistic king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. I'll repeat again. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman prowess by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. Purport. The personality of Godhead Sri Rama assumed the form of a human being and appeared on the earth for the purpose of doing some pleasing work for the demigods or administrative personalities to maintain the order of the universe. Sometimes great demons and atheists like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu and many others become very famous due to advancing material civilization by the help of material science and other activities with a spirit of challenging the established order of the Lord. For example, the attempt to fly to the other planets by material means is a challenge to the established order. The condition of each and every planet are different, and different classes of human beings are accommodated there for different purposes mentioned in the courts of the Lord. But puffed up by tiny success in material advancement, sometimes godless materialists challenge the existence of God. Ravana was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, heaven, by material means without consideration of the necessary qualification. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly to reach the heavenly planets so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter the planet. He also wanted to perform other acts as against the established rules of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Rama, the personality of Godhead, and kidnapped his wife, Sita. Of course, Lord Rama came to chastise this atheist, answering the prayers and desires of the demigods. He therefore took up the challenge of Ravana and the complete activity is the subject matter of Ramayana. Because Lord Ramachandra was the personality of Godhead, he exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravana, could perform. Lord Ramachandra prepared a royal road to the Indian Ocean with stones that float on the water. The modern scientists have done research in the area of weightlessness, but it is not possible to bring in weightlessness anywhere and everywhere. But because weightlessness is the creation of the Lord, by which he can make a gigantic planets fly and float in the air. He made the stones, even within the earth, to be weightless and prepared a stone bridge on the sea without any supporting pillars. That is the display of the powers of God. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitan Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavana Ishwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are observing a Smriti Utsava of Ramanavami. It's little tough for everybody to come and participate on the weekdays, so it is organized so that all of us can hear about the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra and help ourselves get ourselves purified and make our way a little more eligible for making the Lord little simpler to accept us, kind of. Prabhupada says that people in this material world are more or less crazy. Everybody is a crazy person, and we have to deal with this mad mind, right? This mind is so mad that even sitting in one place, we all of us are sitting here to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and our mind may go elsewhere, and we may be going in a dream, we may be floating in the sky or whatever, right? So this mind actually doesn't let us to do anything properly, and that's why even Arjuna was questioning Krishna that how is it possible to actually even control the mind? And Krishna was giving a short smile and saying that this is my design. How can you control over it? I think it's fine. That's good. So Krishna was saying that this is my design, and it is not possible for you to control this mind. Mind cannot be controlled by us. Mind can only be subdued when Krishna is brought in, when Master is actually brought in. Then mind actually subdues. Otherwise, this mind is a constant source of disturbance for all of us. It never actually lets us to live peacefully. So even so we are here to speak about Ramayana. So who is Lord Ramachandra's father? Dasharatha. So what is Dasharatha means? Yeah, he can command. He can run his chariot in 10 different directions, right? So the chariot here actually means that this body, and we have 10 senses in this body, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, jnana indriyas, and 5 karma indriyas, right? So Dasharatha was such a person that who could actually control over this 5 senses, 10 senses, right? That's what his name is. And our scriptures say very clearly that whoever is able to control their 10 senses, they will be able to have a peaceful mind. So mind will actually subdue or rest itself when we are able to control the senses. So that's why even Krishna speaks about lot about controlling the senses in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he talks even about a tortoise, how a tortoise actually withdraws his senses when it is not really needed. So in the same way, here we could actually see about the activities of Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra was requested by all the demigods, because Ravana, who was born in a Brahmana family, his father was actually a sage, and his mother was actually searching for somebody who is more powerful to get more powerful children. And finally she found that there was no king who was powerful at that time. So even Dasharatha was said to be like, how many wives did Dasharatha had? Okay, but actually scriptures say that he had many wives, right? It is said that he was there at the time of Parashurama, and Parashurama was going and chopping off all the kings who were demoniac in nature, and he was of a policy that if somebody is in a marriage, he will not go and kill them. So whenever Parashurama was about to come, Dasharatha was getting married. So he had many wives in fact, but the prominent is 3, right? So Dasharatha was like that, and Dasharatha somehow was managing himself, but then this Ravana, whose mother thought that she wanted to marry somebody who is very powerful, and then she can actually get very powerful children from him, and she found that kings were not very powerful that time. So she went and married a sage, and from the sage we got the children, all the Ravana, who are other brothers of Vibhishana, Kumbhakarna. So that's a famous character, right? Right? So Vibhishana and Kumbhakarna and Surpanaka were born. So all we know that the pastime was that all 3 of them went actually for praying to Brahma, and they prayed for almost 11,000 years to Brahma. Somehow pleased Brahma, and Brahma himself was ordered by the Supreme Lord saying that you go give them the boon, whatever boon they actually ask for, and whatever boon it might be, I will appear and I will actually break that boon and kill them eventually, because Krishna knows that their intentions. So Brahma came, he offered the boon. Ravana wanted to be inconquerable, and he was like, he said he was not feeling human being as somebody who can combat with him. So he was like considering them insignificant. He left them, and he said that any other creatures apart from human beings who are under your control, they will all be not able to conquer me at all. So it was like Ravana, at one point of stage, he was actually controlling all the demons. Like people here all throughout the world, they are actually worried about Shani, Rahu, Ketu and all, right? They go and see all the astrology. They see, okay, how is Rahu for me? How is Ketu for me? How is Shani? They go to temple, do pradakshana, all those things. You know what Ravana did? He actually folded all of them, put them in their hands, and then he was walking. He was that kind of person. If he opens his eyes and stares, all the demigods will actually tremble in fear. All Shani, Rahu, Ketu, they were all trembling in fear looking at Ravana. That was the kind of personality. That's why he is called as Triloka Ishvara. He was able to conquer all the three planetary systems. Right? He was kind of like a complete conqueror of the whole all three planets, and then nobody was able to stand next to him. It was like that. There was no king, no Kshatriya, no powerful person could actually go stand next to Ravana with their eyes open. Indra was like fearful. If Ravana was something like coming to Swargaloka, Indra will flee from that place. That was the kind of power that Ravana actually had. And Prabhupada here actually says that Ravana wanted to build a staircase where even common person can go visit Swargaloka and come back. Right? That was the capability of Ravana. Right? He was not an ordinary person at all. He was so powerful person that he wanted to actually break all the laws of the Supreme Lord. That's exactly what Prabhupada says. He wanted to break the established rules of the Supreme Lord. Right? That everybody is doing that. Right? Krishna even says that ya etam dharayate jagat. Every jiva is trying to actually control over this material nature. They wanted to actually lord over this material nature. That nature is there for within everyone. That's why we say we all have a Ravana within. Right? On the Vijayadasami day, we pray to the Supreme Lord saying that let the Lord actually kill the Ravana within me. That's what we pray for on Vijayadasami day, because Lord Ramachandra conquered Ravana on that day, Vijaya. He became Vijaya and he returned back to Ayodhya. So it was a grand festival. Deepavali is supposed to be a grand festival celebrating the coming back of Ramachandra to Ayodhya. That was the whole festival there. So Ravana, he was such a kind of person, and he had conquered all the three worlds. He was like freely roaming around without nobody's control. And all the asuras who were all along with him, they were all actually happy, blissfully dancing. It is not that even in only in Ramarajya people were happy. In Ravana Rajya also people were happy. But they were happy in other sense. They were happy drinking and then going into madness. That was the kind of happiness. Ignorance is bliss for them. Right? They were in complete ignorance and they were blissful there. Right? So Ravana, wherever he went, all the asuras were also accompanying him, and then he was passing by. He happened to actually see one lady doing a tapasya. She was an ascetic and she was doing tapasya. And Ravana was admiring the beauty of that lady, and he alone descended down from his Pushpaka Vimana, which again he stole it from Kuvera. Right? So it is said that Ramayana actually says that Ayodhya is a place where there is no Yuddha. Ayuddha. That's how Ayodhya actually came in the name. There was no... The people there were very peaceful in their mind, just like how Dasharatha was. They were all peaceful in their mind. They were all sleeping very nicely. On the contrary, in Lanka, where Ravana was living, Lanka, where did Ravana get it from? From whom did he get? Kuvera. So Kuvera, his own stepbrother, he stole the whole kingdom from Kuvera, and he kind of went and established his kingdom in Lanka. So it was a stolen property, right? Our scriptures say if somebody goes and steals something from somebody, they will not have a peaceful sleep. Right? Somebody is not having a peaceful sleep, probably that is the cause. Right? We are all actually going and stealing things from Krishna. Everything is Krishna's property, right? Krishna actually says that everything belongs to me. Right? But we go and steal some property of Krishna and we claim saying that this is our property, my property. Right? That's why we are not having peaceful sleep. Krishna, scriptures say. So if you want peaceful sleep, you acknowledge saying that Krishna is the owner of everything, I am not the owner. Then you will be peaceful. Even if thief comes and takes the whole property of you, you will still be peaceful. Right? Because you are not worried, you didn't lose anything. Right? Our scriptures goes to an extent to say that what is there for us to renounce? We have nothing to renounce, basically. Right? We have nothing to renounce. We have not brought anything here, and we cannot actually take anything back. What is there for me to actually renounce? Everything which is there is actually Krishna's property. We just climb here saying that it is my property. It's temporarily it belongs. We are like using it. That's all. But actually it belongs to Krishna. So anybody who knows this secret, that's what Krishna also says in the 7th chapter. Such an yogi is Shantir Gacchati. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatir antaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate emam tame yuktatmo. What's that sloka? I forgot. What's the 7th chapter last sloka? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhuteshu gyatva mam shanti richati. Whoever actually understands this gyatva, they actually become shanti. They get the real peace, Krishna says. So one who understands saying that things are not mine, they become very peaceful in their mind. The more a person actually thinks that this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, not recognizing that this is Krishna's, they become very disturbed in their mind. So mind becomes disturbed when we don't recognize the proprietorship of Lord over things, the control that the Lord has over things. But instead, if we want to take proprietorship, we want to take control over things, that's when the mind actually starts disturbing us. Maya is also there to punish people who are not recognizing the supremacy of the Lord. That's why Maya is there to punish. Material nature can only trouble when we are not Krishna conscious. Krishna Surya Sama Maya hoy andakar. Jaha Krishna daha nahi Maya radhikar. Wherever Krishna is, wherever we are Krishna conscious, then Maya will not come and disturb us. That's the secret. Right? The secret is that we need to be Krishna conscious. If we are Krishna conscious, then Maya will not come and disturb us. Mind will not come and disturb us. Senses will not come and disturb us. That's why even Arjuna asked a question to Krishna saying that how a transcendental person actually remains peaceful even within this material world. Because it is like very bewildering for Arjuna, saying that how a person can be very peaceful, how a devotee can actually be peacefully living here in this material world. Because the nature of material world is to come and disturb everybody. That's the nature. Nobody can actually be peaceful within this material world. It's the design is like that. The design is that nobody can be peaceful here. Everybody will be fried and frustrated here. How many of you are fried and frustrated? Enough. Right? All the kids, you are like, how many kids like to go to school? How many parents are enjoying taking care of the children? How many of you are enjoying in your workplace? Okay. I see some hands getting raised for everything. Let me ask you one question. How many of you are literally frustrated with Bangalore traffic? That's the case, right? Material world will make us really frustrated. We cannot live peacefully, happily here. That's why Krishna calls this place as Dukkha Alaya. It's a place full of misery. You cannot get anything else here. Right? So Ravana, he was flying in the sky and he saw this lady who was very beautiful, and he approached her and he proposed her saying that you're so beautiful. Why are you actually doing all this meditation in the forest? He broke her meditation. He wanted to know who she was. Then she revealed saying that I am Vedavati. I am a personification of Vedas. I am here to actually be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. I wanted to have Lord as my husband. And she was praying for the Supreme Lord to actually accept her. And Ravana actually heard everything from her, and then he said, Supreme Lord Krishna Rama, give up. I am here, Trilokeshwar Ravan. I am the greatest personality within this universe. You come with me. I will give you all kinds of enjoyments. So he kind of like gave a proposal to her. But then she denied straight away, saying that my whole existence is for the Lord to enjoy me. I cannot be enjoyed by any jackals, anybody. right? And but Ravana was not contented with that. He tried to force her by catching her hair, but then she kind of somehow escaped from him, and then she prayed to the Supreme Lord and burnt her whole body. When she burnt her body, she cursed Ravana, saying that you will die because of me. Right? She cursed him. Right? That same Vedavati actually appeared as Chaya Sita when there was a Brahmana in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a pastime of Ramadas. This Ramadas was very like this nice pastime. The whole thing actually goes so nice. This Ramadas, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Madurai, this Ramadas actually came and invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come for lunch. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there for lunch, this Ramadas was so absorbed in the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and then he asked Ramadas saying that is the lunch ready? Then Ramadas actually replied back saying that, oh, wait, don't be in a hurry. Just now Lakshmana went to the forest and he went to get some firewoods. As soon as he brings some firewoods, Sita Mata will cook nice prasadam for you and she will give you. Don't be in a hurry, wait. Right? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was waiting for some time and then he actually broke that person's meditation. Then finally he actually said, saying that he prepared nice boga for the Supreme Lord. He went and prepared the boga and he offered that to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, you also come and eat with me. But then this Ramadas was actually saying that, oh, I have no interest to actually eat. I am like so disappointed. I am not able to digest something. That how can Ravana touch Mother Sita and take her to Lanka? Mother Sita is Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. How can this Ravana go and touch Sita Devi and then take her away from Ravana and take her to Lanka? I am not able to digest this. That how can Ravana, such a demon, he can go and touch Mother Sita? At that time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed to this Ramadas saying that it was not the real Sita, it was Chaya Sita. As soon as Mother Sita stepped over the Lakshman Rekha, she entered into Mother Earth and then the Chaya Sita actually came out. And then when Lord Ramachandra did Agni Pariksha, that time original Sita actually came back. So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually revealed and he gave reference for that in Kurma Purana. So then after hearing all this, the Brahmana became kind of satisfied. So that was the curse that Vedavati actually gave, saying that she will appear as Chaya Sita and because of her, Ravana will be killed. That she will become a cause for Ravana's death. Right? So that was Vedavati's story. So after hearing the curse, he was like, Ravana was like not so much bothered about all these things. Then he actually went ahead. But before that, he got another curse. He got another curse from Kuvera when he tried to forcefully take away Kuvera's kingdom. Kuvera actually cursed him, saying that if at any point of time, if you force a woman and try to actually abduct her or enjoy her, you will die. Right? That was another curse that Ravana actually had. So he was actually cautious. That's why even he actually could not actually approach Mother Sita. Only when Mother Sita or anybody actually allows, then he will be able to actually enjoy with them. Otherwise he cannot. The curse will actually make him die. So he had multiple curses. Like he is even cursed by Nandi. Nandi actually once took a form of a monkey and he was actually roaming around in Kailash area. So this Ravana actually went to near Kailash and then when he was going in his Pushpaka Vimana above Kailash, his plane was not going further. He had to actually land down. So he had to land down and then he saw Nandi in that different form and he started insulting Nandi who was in that form, in a monkey form. And then Nandi also cursed, saying that you will die because of Vanaras or the monkeys. He got another curse there. Right? So a lot of curse that Ravana actually kept getting. Like Ravana at that time, he wanted to show his powers because like he was not able to fly above Kailash. So he wanted to even lift Kailash and throw away. So he put all his 10 hands inside Kailash. He wanted to lift the mountain, the whole Kailasha mountain. At that time, like Lord Shiva and Parvati, they were sitting above that mountain. So Lord Shiva understood that it is Ravana. With his toe, he actually pressed Kailasha, Lord Shiva. Then all the 10 hands of Ravana got stuck there. He was not able to move. He was not able to take his hands out. He was all stuck. Then the Ravana, it is said that he actually praised Lord Shiva. For many, many thousands of years, he praised Lord Shiva. And then finally, Lord Shiva became pleased. And then he released him, gave him an Atmalinga. So that Atmalinga, the Ravana actually took back. Then that's why we hear that Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, Ravana understood saying that he cannot defeat some personalities. Of course, he got completely defeated by Ravana. And then he also got defeated by Vali also later. Vali, like when he actually was, he heard about the great powers of Vali, he wanted to challenge Vali. So Vali is such a person that he used to actually offer prayers in 4 different directions in one after another. Every day he used to go to south, he used to go to west, north, east, and he used to go and offer prayers, and he used to return back to his Kishkinta. So one time what happened when he was in his prayers, Ravana actually came there. He wanted to attack Vali from behind. Vali, what he did was, with his tail he actually arrested Ravana, and then from there he jumped to all different places, and then he finished his prayers, and then he turned to Ravana and he said, saying that, do you want to really fight with me? Kind of like that. So then Ravana understood, saying that he is still, somebody can defeat him. Because Vali was so powerful. Anybody who stands in front of him, Vali gets 50% of their powers. Kind of like that. So he has his powers, and then he gets 50% of their powers also. Obviously, he will overpower everybody. That was Vali. So nobody could actually defeat him. That's why even Ramachandra actually did not go in front. And there were rules. Like people actually still debate, saying, how can Lord Ramachandra go and fight or Vali, kill him in hiding? And there are reasons for it. There are many shastric reasons which acharyas have actually given, that why Ramachandra actually killed Vali in hiding. Right? That's a different thing. So after all these incidents, Ravana came back to Lanka, and then he was enjoying. And then in Ayodhya, Dasharatha Maharaj did not have any children. He had only one daughter, and that daughter also he gave it to one king called as Romapada. Like, how can you think, like, you have only one child, and that child also you gave it. Dasharatha actually gave that child to Romapada. And so Dasharatha did not have any child, and then he was seeking all the sages' blessings to have child. They were actually planning to perform an yajna to beget a child, and that time he got to know, saying that it is not Ashwamedha yajna that Dasharatha Maharaj had to do, but instead he has to do a Putra Kamishti yajna to get a child, kind of. And then there was specific rules also saying that he cannot get this Putra Kamishti yajna should be done by such a person that who has never seen a woman. Because in his whole lifetime he has never seen a woman. So that who is such a kind of personality? But there was one personality existing like that, right? So there was one sage called as Vibhandaka. So this Vibhandaka was a great personality. He was in the forest, he was doing meditation, but somehow he got allured by Ramba. Or I don't remember, Ramba or Menaka, I don't remember. Somehow, some Apsara, he got allured by them, and then his potency actually came in the water, and that potency was drunk by a deer, and then eventually the deer became pregnant. And the deer gave a birth to a boy, and that boy had a human form, but he had the ears of a deer, a very peculiar person, right? And this Vibhandaka, he grew this son. His name is Rishyasringa. This Rishyasringa was growing up in the forest, and he has never seen a woman in his life, right? He was all the while in the forest. He has never seen a woman. He had never knew saying that there is a woman existing. He never knew that there was a creature like that. And he was like growing up, his father was like not letting anybody come near the ashrama. Very controlled, very strict he was. So this Rishyasringa was growing like that. So that news was heard by Dasharatha Maharaj, and then eventually it was heard by Romapada, who also was in another difficulty. This Romapada had actually offended Brahmanas, and because of that all the Brahmanas left his kingdom. And no brahmanas were there, no yajna was there, no rain was there. It was complete drought. Right? That's why our scriptures very nicely speak about not to offend brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Because when Vaishnavas and brahmanas are displeased with us, then even all the good qualities in us goes. Even our scriptures actually talk about saying that you speak something good about others, then you will get 1% of their good quality and you will lose some bad quality of yours. Right? If you speak good about others, you get one portion of their good quality and you also lose some bad quality of yours. But instead, if you speak something bad about others, you get their bad quality one portion and you lose your good qualities. Nice proposal, right? That's why it is very important to actually talk positive things. Right? It is very important for us to actually talk positive things. If we keep talking negative things in our life, then we get that negative things actually happen to us, even if we don't deserve it. For example, a devotee, a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, when they speak something negatively, right? It is said that above every house there is a Astu Devata. That Astu Devata actually says Tatastu, Tatastu, Tatastu for everything that you say. You speak negatively, it will say Tatastu. Right? You will get only that. Whatever you speak, that's what you will actually get. So you keep speaking negatively at home, then the negative things only will happen. That's why it is devotees who are very advanced, very matured, they always speak positive things. They always speak about Krishna. They always speak very positive things in their life. And they bless positively to others also. They never curse others. Even like for jovially or for in a uncontrollable way, sometimes we curse others. Right? It's when we curse others, what happens is all your good qualities, pious activities goes off from you. So we need to be quite careful in what we are speaking, how we are, even in our daily dealings, even within the home. Okay, mera wife hai, mera husband hai, mera children hai, I can speak anything with them. No, it is not like that. You speak one negative thing about your own wife, husband, your own children, things will happen for sure. That's why it is said, Krishna also saying that one has to be very careful when they speak. There is Krishna actually speaks about austerity of speech. Right? He speaks about what to be spoken. And in austerity of speech, Krishna says that one should speak in such a way that it is very pleasing to others. It doesn't agitate others' minds. Right? That's austerity of speech. By doing that, a person actually doesn't gain some unnecessary garbage on him. It's very important we speak properly. Right? So, where was I basically? So, Rishyas, the Vibhandak, Romapada Maharaj, he was like offended Brahmanas. All the Brahmanas went off. No yajna was happening. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Yajna sishtas na. What's that verse? With yajna, from yajna comes rain. Yajna. No, about rain. That's not yajna. Annat bhavanti bhutani prajanyat anna sambhava yajnat bhavati prajanya. Krishna says yajnat bhavati prajanya. From yajna comes rain. Right? So when no yajna was happening, obviously no rain. And no rain, no grains, nothing to drink. People were starving in a drought. And then Romapada Maharaj was actually told, saying that you want to bring all the Brahmanas back, go and bring this Rishyasringa to your place. So then Romapada Maharaj was making some plan. He called all the society girls, prostitutes, saying that if you can go and allure Rishyasringa and somehow bring him to my kingdom, I will give you so much of gifts for you. And some society girls came and they wanted to take this challenge. They heard about Vibhandaka, he was very strict, he will curse. But they somehow made a plan that Vibhandaka goes off from his hermitage, and at that time they came in, they allured Rishyasringa, somehow actually brought him in a floating city. They built a floating city in the water, and they somehow brought Rishyasringa back to Romapada Maharaj's kingdom. And as soon as he stepped his foot there, rains came, all the Brahmanas returned, all the things, good things actually happened. So this Romapada Maharaj also married his daughter to Rishyasringa. That was Shanta, Dashratha Maharaj's daughter. She was. So he got married also, and then this Romapada Maharaj, Rishyasringa was requested to actually perform the Putra Kameshti Yajna for Dashratha Maharaj. So that also happened, and at the end of the Yajna Purusha came, gave a sweet rice. So Dashratha Maharaj gave 50% of the sweet rice to the first wife, Kaushalya. So then another 50% was given to Sumitra, and both of them gave some portion of it to, Kaikeyi got one portion and both of them gave it to Sumitra. So Sumitra got twins, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. So they were twins. But they had their own company. Like Lakshmana was always with Rama and Shatrughna was always with Bharata. So then eventually they grow up under the guidance of Vasishta Muni, and they grow up and then they become teenagers. So at that time Vishwamitra actually came. He wanted some help because Ravana was such a person that wherever he actually flies, if he sees the yajna fire, the smoke, what his asuras will do is they will actually put flesh, urine, bones inside that yajna, and they will spoil the whole yajna. So Vishwamitra was doing yajna, and all the yajnas that he was performing, everything was getting spoiled by this demons, and these demons were spoiling all the yajnas. And Vishwamitra was himself a king, and he was so powerful that he could actually go and kill all these asuras. But then he didn't want to do it, because once you go and kill somebody, then his yogic potency will come down. So he doesn't want to do it. So he wants to go and take help of Kshatriyas who their job is to actually do this. So he went and asked Dashratha Maharaj, saying that you give Rama. And then Dashratha Maharaj was like, he was saying, don't take Rama, he is just a small boy, I will come myself. And I am so powerful, I can kill all these asuras very easily. But then Vishwamitra kind of said, will you give Rama or not? Kind of like that. And then Vasishta came and intervened, and he said, saying that, okay, give Rama, send Rama and Lakshmana, both of them. Vishwamitra is actually trained in military art, and Ramachandra will get nice, good guidance and education from Vishwamitra. So you please send them. And eventually we know that Ramachandra got killed. What's that demoness? Taraka. And then he threw Maricha from there to actually he fell for several yojanas. He flew, and just by one grass he took Ramachandra, and then he pointed and threw at Maricha. Maricha was thrown away to different continent altogether, right? So after that he went to Janaka Maharaj, and then he married Sita Devi. So that the bow that Lord Ramachandra broke, it is said that it is Shiva Dhanush. So that Dhanush was something very nice. There is a nice pastime for that Dhanush. Once Narada Muni, he went and to Indra, and he said, saying that, oh, okay, I think Lord Shiva is so powerful. He is very powerful. He is like, there is nobody who can actually beat him. And then Indra started saying, no, Vishnu is actually very powerful. Vishnu is actually powerful and is more powerful than Lord Shiva. So then somehow some confusion was created by Narada Muni there, and they both actually went and made Lord Shiva and Vishnu fight against each other. So for them to fight, special bows were created. And the bow was so heavy that even in the Sita Swayamvara, when that bow, it was carried by 300 people. 300 people, they actually carried that bow and they brought in. And that Ramachandra broke it like easily. Bhagavatam here, there is a sloka for comparing that the way that Ramachandra broke the bow, it is compared like a sugar can being broken by a baby elephant. That easily, it was broken by Ramachandra. That's how it was. So, Lord Shiva and then Lord, the Supreme Lord, they both actually were made to fight, and then finally it is concluded saying, okay, stop, don't have to fight. We agree, saying that both of you are very powerful. It was settled later on, and then the Lord, what you call like, one of the Lord Shiva's bow somehow came to the Dashratha Maharaj's palace. When Sita Devi was young, she wanted to pluck some flowers, and she wanted some stick to pluck that flower. So she was not finding a stick, and eventually she went and took this bow, and she was plucking flowers with that, which 300 people were trying to lift. That Sita Devi took it, and she was plucking flowers with that. When Dashratha Maharaj saw all these things, he found that if Sita Devi could actually lift this bow so easily, somebody who is marrying her should be more powerful at least than Sita Devi. So then this whole Swayamvara was organized, and then all the Kshatriyas participated. They could not even lift the whole bow. Even Ravana was not able to lift the bow. He also came there. But finally Ramachandra came, and then very easily he lifted, and he was about to string it, it broke off. Oh, sorry, it broke off. Right? Right? So that's the kind of situation where eventually Sita Devi was married to Lord Ramachandra. They came, and then we all know that Ramachandra was asked to go to forest for 14 years. That's a nice story for that also, that Dashratha Maharaj was not getting son, so from Kaushalya. So then eventually he married Sumitra, Kaikeyi, everybody. When Kaikeyi was about to be married, the Kaikeyi's father, I forgot his name, anybody remembers? Kaikeya, right. So Kaikeya, he actually was asking Dashratha Maharaj, saying that my daughter is going to get married to you, and she is not going to be your only wife, and you already have a wife, and if she actually begins a son, their son will go to the throne, not my daughter's son. So can you give me a guarantee saying that my daughter's son will go to throne? So then Dashratha Maharaj was wanting, he was like desperate to have a son. So he gave that boon, saying that okay, that the son who is coming from you, Kaikeyi, he will actually take the throne. So that promise was given. So that promise was not known to many people. Only Kaikeya was known. Even Kaikeyi did not know. But who was Kaikeyi's helper? Mantra, yeah. She knew it. So that's why at the right time, when Rama was supposed to be coronated, so at that time Kaikeyi came, and she kind of made the whole disturbance in Mantra came, and she disturbed Kaikeyi's mind, and she said, saying that now is the time, because Dashratha Maharaj gave you a boon, that in the battlefield once he offered to give you some benedictions, and you told, saying that you will take the benedictions later, but now is the time. Go and ask Dashratha Maharaj, saying that Lord Rama should go to forest for 14 years, and then Bharata should take the kingdom. That was the situation. So Manthara came and did this whole drama there and changed Kaikeyi's mind. So our Acharyas say very clearly that this is the power of bad association. When we go and associate with people who are not devotees of the Lord, who are not inclined to go and worship the Lord, when we take such bad association, our minds get corrupted completely. Bhagavatam also says very clearly that Tasmat ekena manasa Bhagavan Satvatam Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavasya Deyaha Pujyata Nityada. The sloka meaning is different, but the main important thing there is, it talks about Shrotaha Kirtitavasya Deyaha Pujyata Nityada. Shrotava, hearing. Whatever we go and hear, that's what our mind will always dwell upon. Right? What we hear is actually something very, very important. We keep hearing something, then we will start meditating on the same thing. That's why it is said, saying that when some devotees went and asked Prabhupada, saying that how can I chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantras nicely? How can I become a good chanter? Prabhupada then immediately asked him a question, how can you become a good smoker? Right? How can you become a good smoker? then that devotee actually said, I have to go sit near a person who is smoking nicely, who is a chain smoker. Then eventually I will also become a good smoker. Prabhupada said, yes, you want to actually improve your chanting, you need to sit near a devotee who is chanting. Right? In the same way, if you want to based on the association that we actually take, that's what we will actually become. That's why even there is a English proverb also saying that, tell me who your friends are, I will tell you who you are. Right? The people whom you keep next to you, that itself will actually show you who you are. Because your consciousness will get severely impacted by the consciousness of those people. You be with devotees who always talk about Krishna, who always speak about the glories of the Lord, who always be with other devotees speaking about the Supreme Lord, then your consciousness will be nicely impacted by remembering the Supreme Lord. But instead, if you go be with people who wants to make lot of money, who wants to buy a lot of land in Bangalore, who wants to actually buy nice car, buy nice phone, you keep hearing about that, that's what you will also think. Yes or no? How many of you have experienced this? How many of you at your home, you actually dreamt about buying a nice phone because your friends actually talked about speaking about phone? Right? There's strong influence in it. Right? Very strong influence in that. So, Manthara's influence came strongly on Kaikeyi, and eventually she went and did the whole drama in front of Dasharatha, and eventually that whole thing had to happen, that Ramachandra had to leave the kingdom and go. And Bhagavatam says very nicely how Ramachandra went to forest. Ramachandra, as soon as he heard the command, instruction from his father saying that you go to forest for 14 years, he left everything and went as if nothing had actually happened. And Bhagavatam says that it only indicates that how renounced Lord Ramachandra was. He was never attached to anything, because next day he was supposed to be a king. Think about yourself, if you are put in that situation. Next day you are going to be coronated as Prime Minister of India. Right? I don't know, nobody is participating in the election there, nobody is contesting there, but I hope so. But if an opportunity comes that you are actually made to be a Prime Minister of India tomorrow, and then suddenly somebody comes and snatches away that whole thing, will you not have a slight prick in your heart saying that, oh, because of this person, I could not become a Prime Minister, kind of. That prick will be there. But Ramachandra did not have anything like that. In fact, before he is going, he went and even offered obeisances to Mother Kaikeyi also, as a mother. Right? If you don't bless me, how can I actually be successful in this whole journey? He took blessings of Kaikeyi also. But Lakshmana was furious there. He could not tolerate. Let me go and kill this Kaikeyi. Kind of. Even Bharata was actually showing the similar kind of feeling. He went and pushed Kaikeyi after all Ramachandra went. And then he grabbed Manthara's hairs, and then he was about to cut her into pieces. But then he actually realized, saying that, will my brother Ramachandra will be pleased with me by this act or not? Bharata had a very tough time, because when all these things were happening, Bharata was not in Ayodhya. Then when he was suddenly invited to come, when he was entering Ayodhya, all the Ayodhya Vasis were all thinking, saying that it is because of Bharata only Ramachandra went to forest. And he had to face all the people in Bharata, in the Ayodhya. And they were all pointing at Bharata only. He has not done anything. Can you put yourself in Bharata's shoes and think, saying that he has not done any mistake at all. He didn't know anything, in fact. He didn't know the whole picture. But everybody were pointing, he the cause for all these things. He is the cause for Lord Ramachandra to go away. And Bharata was so heavy in his heart, he could not even digest. He went and trashed his mother. He was about to kill Manthara. It was like so heavy. He was not able to tolerate that pain. And then finally, to convince himself, he took all the Ayodhya Vasis, and then he went to meet Ramachandra. He went there to meet Ramachandra. He fell at Ramachandra's feet. There also the one big drama happened. So when Bharata was about to come, that time Guha and Lakshmana, they were all guarding Sita Devi and Ramachandra. So as soon as there was whole party was all coming, there was the dust was in the sky, and Lakshmana understood somebody is coming. He was like took his arrow ready, and he understood saying it is Bharata. At that time, Lakshmana was so furious that they have already took the kingdom, and now Bharata is coming with the army to wage a war against Lord Ramachandra, and he even in fact wanted to kill Lord Ramachandra. That's what Lakshmana was actually thinking. And he was so angry at him, he was like ready to actually shoot his arrows. But then Ramachandra came and stopped him. He was like, if Ramachandra had not stopped him, then Lakshmana was like, he couldn't be controlled. So Bharata came and eventually begged forgiveness. He requested Lord Ramachandra to come back. But then Ramachandra said, I have to go. I have to obey my father's orders. And I have to actually go to this forest. And Lord, in fact, it is the order of our father to that you be the king. But then Bharata said, how can I be the king? All the Ayodhya-vasis, they were all waiting for you to actually become the king. You were supposed to be the king next day morning. They were all waiting for you to take the throne. But how can I be a king there? I cannot be a king. But finally it was settled for Bharata Maharaj. He took the feet for the Paduka of Ramachandra. He kept that in his throne. And he never actually sat on the throne. All the while for 14 years, Bharata Maharaj stayed outside the city of Ayodhya. He dug a pit in the ground and he was staying under the pit, and he was eating only few barley grains every day. He used to chant the names of Lord Ramachandra. How many ever names of the Lord he actually chant, that many grains he used to actually take, and that many grains he used to cook, and he used to actually live with that. And he also said, Lord Ramachandra saying that 14 years I will tolerate. I will actually rule on your behalf. At the end of 14th year, if you don't appear here, the next day I will kill myself. That was how Bharata was. And even all through that 14 years, people were still thinking, saying that because of Bharata this all happened. Bharata had a tough time in his heart, and he was tolerating all these things because of Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra wanted it, let me do it, that's all. That was Bharata. So our Acharya speaks so big about Bharata's sacrifice. It is so big sacrifice. Even Lakshmana's sacrifice was so big. Like Lakshmana, when he was newly married to Urmila at that time, and then he left Urmila and he actually came. He came along with Ramachandra because he could not tolerate Lord Ramachandra being in forests, in so much of inconvenience. And all 14 years, Lakshmana never slept. He never slept, and he was only serving Lord Ramachandra and Mother Sita. Sita Devi did not had any need to go with Lord Ramachandra, but she also accompanied. She took all the inconvenience along with Ramachandra also. Right? So they spent time in 14 years, and eventually Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ramachandra, and eventually that whole episode of Ramachandra meeting Hanuman, and then they took help from Sugriva. Vali was killed, and then Sita was found in the Lanka. So then Hanuman flew there. He saw Sita, and Sita Devi thought that Hanuman was Ravana had come as Hanuman in disguise, because Ravana got a boon from Brahma to change his forms, whatever form he likes. And Sita Devi knew that Ravana could do that, because she was abducted because he changed the form as an ascetic, and then she was abducted. She knew, saying that Ravana can change forms, and she thought Hanuman was Ravana. Initially she did not believe, but then Hanuman proved himself that he is Ramaduta, he is a servant of Lord Ramachandra, and then he offered some ornaments that Sita Devi actually was used to have, which she dropped giving signs to Lord Ramachandra. So that one of those ornaments was given, and then Hanuman proved himself, and then Sita Devi actually also gave her ornaments back to say that Hanuman actually met Sita Devi. So eventually that nice hangama actually happened, where Hanuman, before he left Lanka, he broke all the trees in the Ashokavana forest, and then he killed so many asuras. He threw all of them. Finally Indrajit came and he released the Brahmastra, and for that Brahmastra he agreed to actually be controlled, because he didn't wanted to insult Brahmastra. He was capable to even break Brahmastra, because he got a boon from all the demigods, saying that even no fire can harm him, no Shani, none of their potencies will actually be able to influence Hanuman. So he was almost like nobody could defeat him. But he agreed to actually be subdued by Brahmastra, so that he could actually meet Ravana. And then he explained Ravana, saying that, you remember Vali, who actually captured you in tail? That Vali was killed by Rama, for your information. Right? So he is coming. So you better give up Sita. He will actually forgive you. You give up Sita, he will forgive you. But Ravana was not ready to actually, release Sita. Right? In fact, it is said that all the 10 heads that Ravana had, they were all actually saying, release Sita, but his own head saying no, kind of. He was so adamant to actually release Sita. So eventually the whole bridge was constructed. Then that nice thing happened of Vibhishana's surrender. Right? So Vibhishana actually, that time he tried to request Ravana to release Sita, but then Ravana actually sent Vibhishana out of his Lanka. So eventually Vibhishana came, and then he was about to take shelter, and Ramachandra was taking counsel from all his army people. He was taking counsel from Nala, Jambavan, and then Sugriva, everybody. And everybody were actually saying that don't accept Vibhishana, because he is Ravana's brother. He will come, he will have some plans. And Rakshasas always have some plans. They always go in a crooked way, and then they defeat people. And they don't mind doing that. So all of them were suggesting no. But then it was only Hanuman. Hanuman actually said that when I actually flew to Lanka, there was only in one house I heard Lord Ramachandra's name. Ram. Ramachandra's name was actually called only in one house, and that was Vibhishana's house. And he knew, saying that Vibhishana was a devotee of the Lord. And only Hanuman actually spoke in favor of Vibhishana. So at that time, Lord Ramachandra actually made one very interesting statement. He said, saying that not just Vibhishana, even if Ravana comes here and takes my shelter, I will forgive whatever he has done completely, and I will accept him. So whoever comes and takes shelter, I will actually accept them. Even if they had insulted me so badly, if somebody comes to me or wants shelter from me, I will actually give them shelter. That was a promise that Lord Ramachandra spoke. Right? So our Acharya speaks so much about this, that if Ramachandra was so magnanimous, so merciful, that he is ready to actually accept anybody who actually wants to take shelter. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, saying that even if somebody takes the holy name of the Lord even once, they get the protection of the Supreme Lord. Right? That's something that the Lord actually promises. He was so merciful. The Lord's magnanimity was actually getting shown in that situation. So Vibhishana takes shelter of Lord Ramachandra. Eventually they built a bridge, and then they came to Lanka. The war was going on. There was one interesting personality in the war who was in Ravana's side, and that personality, he was fighting in the war against Lord Ramachandra's army, because he had to fight, because he has to obey the king's order. he was fighting against Ramachandra's army, and he was almost like destroying everybody there. And he was like, no arrows were affecting him. No arrows were affecting him because he was always chanting Lord Rama's name. He was chanting Lord Rama's name, and then he was like shooting arrows. Nobody could do anything for him. And Lakshmana actually went shot against arrow. All his arrows actually became insignificant. He was like so powerfully actually shooting arrows. Vibhishana came and he said, saying that the only way to actually kill him is like in between two Rama's name, he takes a gap. Rama, Rama, Rama. In between two Rama's name, he gives a short gap. At that gap, you should actually kill him. And Lakshmana did that. He killed that person. Later on, Lakshmana got to know it is none other than Vibhishana's own son. So Vibhishana's own son, actually, he was also a great devotee of the Lord. And then he was chanting Lord Rama's name, though he was fighting against Lord Ramachandra's army. But he was killed because he was not able to be killed. It was difficult to actually kill him because he was reciting the Lord's name. Right? So there's another nice pastime that happened during the bridge construction, that all the Vanaras, they were actually writing Lord Rama's name, and they were actually putting that stone in the ocean, and the stones were actually floating. And then that time Lord Ramachandra himself took one stone, and then he actually dropped it, and the stone sunk. And that time Hanuman actually laughed. He laughed, and he actually said, saying that, oh Rama, your name is actually more powerful than you. Because we are writing your name in the stone is actually floating. Even Ramachandra went and dropped the stone sunk. Right? So our Acharya speaks so much about the glory of the holy name there, that Lord Rama's name is actually more powerful than Rama. And this Vibhishana's son was actually taking Lord Rama's name. And in fact, Angada also happened to be like that. When Angada actually went to, as a Shanti Duda, he went to Ravana's palace, and then he asked if anybody in this whole courtyard, if they could actually move even his toe, his big toe, if they can move his big toe from the ground, I will go and personally request Lord Ramachandra to go away from here. That was a challenge that he gave. He gave to Ravana and all his party. And then he kept his foot down. Angada kept his foot down. And then he gave the challenge. Anybody come forward, move my toe. And all the Asuras, they came, they wanted to lift Angada's toe, and nobody was able to even move Angada's toe. They were all trying. Nobody could even move. And then finally Ravana came to actually move. At that time, Angada took his foot off, saying that you actually are like my father's friend. I see you in the place of my father. Why you are coming to touch my feet? Better you go and touch Rama's feet. He will forgive you. So at that time, Hanuman was asked, how was he able to actually manage? Because Angada was asked, how was he able to manage to do that whole challenge? So that time Angada said, I chanted your name, O Lord Ramachandra. I chanted Ram and kept my foot. And because of Rama's name, they could not actually move my foot. So that was the situation there. Right? It was all an army of Vanaras who were like not even trained to actually fight. Like in many pictures you might actually see that all the Vanaras were carrying Gada and all those things. But actually they were all Vanaras. They were not even trained to actually fight. What they were fighting is they used to take big bolsters of stone, and then they uproot trees and then they throw. That's how their fighting was. But the other party, Ravana's party, they were all trained warriors. Right? So that was the situation. Ramachandra brought an army of Vanaras and then defeated the whole army of Ravana. Eventually Ravana was killed, and then Vibhishana was enthroned. Then so many nice things actually events happened. Like it's almost time now. So what we can learn from Lord Ramachandra's pastime is that the names of the Lord is very, very powerful. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he came, he actually asked us to chant the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord is very powerful that even the Lord himself. And the Lord becomes so attracted to the holy name that the Supreme Lord came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So in Kali Yuga, we need to actually take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. Surrendering to the Supreme Lord is non-different from chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no difference between surrendering to the Lord and chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So our duty here, or our only option here or shelter here, being in this Kali Yuga, being in this wretched place, which even demigods will not even come to this earthly planet in Kali Yuga even to pass urine. For that also demigods will not come. That's such a wretched place this is. And we are living here. We are trying to be happy here, adjusting ourselves to this material situation. And all the acharyas are seeing us to be fools. That you are such a like Narottam Das Thakur, he actually says that Hari Hari Bifale Janamai Ganayinu Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nabajiya Janiya Shuniya Vishakainu. That's what our acharyas say. That knowingly we are all drinking poison, trying to enjoy in this material world and not taking the shelter of the holy name of the Lord. Knowingly you are drinking poison. So this mind that we are dealing with, it is fooling us all the time. It is fooling us thinking that by doing this we can be happy. By doing this we can enjoy. And fooling us, like repeatedly we are being fooled in this material world, and we are actually attempting to do so many things in this material world and fooling ourselves, thinking that we will become happy by doing this. But our acharyas say very clearly, saying that this will not make us happy at all. The only thing that will make us happy is to hear the glorification of the Supreme Lord, chanting the holy name of the Lord, and being in association of the Supreme Lord, and spending our time in serving the Lord. That is the only thing which will make us happy. So that's why even the Supreme Lord, sometimes he comes as Lord Ramachandra, performs this superhuman act, performs his Leela, just to captivate the wicked mind that we have, which is kind of constantly disturbing us. Captivate our mind, develop an affinity, interest for the Supreme Lord, and then eventually by serving him we get an opportunity to go back to the spiritual world. That's why he comes and performs all this Leela. It is to captivate our mind. And if we simply remember these pastimes, spend our time chanting the Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, chanting the Supreme Lord's pastimes, Supreme Lord's name, remembering all his activities, we also get an opportunity to go back to the spiritual world, where we can actually live without any problems, without Bangalore traffic jams. Right? And spiritual world is such a place. Krishna says, the spiritual world is such a place where you don't need to struggle at all. Here in material world, we have to struggle so much to get something. To get even some money, we have to actually spend so many hours here. And to cook even some nice food, you'll have to actually prepare prasadam. The big plan you'll have to actually do. Like prasadam is cooked there. I don't know how many devotees spend how many hours of planning they did, how many hours of effort they actually did to make prasadam for all of us, offer it to the Supreme Lord and make it available for all of us. It takes big effort. Anything that needs to be done in this material world, it takes big effort. But in spiritual world, it is so easy. Our scriptures say that in spiritual world, everywhere you have kalpa vriksha, desire fulfilling tree. You go to kalpa vriksha and ask, I want puri, sabji, pulav, raita, all those things. Give me a plate of it, chung, it will come there. Why you have to struggle here in this material world? That's the kind of proposal the Lord actually brings in. He comes in and says, come to my world and enjoy. But we are saying, no, I will struggle here. The Lord, he doesn't have any option. Okay, go struggle. But once in a while, the Lord also comes here and he does all these pastimes to develop some kind of attraction so that we will actually we develop a desire to go back to his place. Right? That's our real home. Our real home is in spiritual world. But then we are all coming here and suffering here. Prabhupada gives the example of a millionaire's son loitering in the street. That's our case. Our situation is like that. Not taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, not taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord, we are all suffering here literally. So if we simply go and take shelter of Lord Ramachandra, just like how Vibhishana took, Lord Ramachandra is ready to accept us. Without any conditions, he is ready to accept us. Just like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Jagai and Madai. No conditions. Nityananda Prabhu recommended, please accept them. Accepted. That's all. No more conditions. That's all. That's how the Lord is so merciful. If we take one step towards the Lord, he is willing to completely accept us. Just that we have to wholeheartedly take that one step. But we have a lot of reluctance to take that one step. We chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day, 16 rounds. But still we are not ready to accept the Lord. We are not ready to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. We are hesitant. Like even while devotees go and say, what if I go offer this bhoga to the Supreme Lord and the Lord eats it, everything? We are hesitant to go and offer. Like I have spent so much of time cooking all those things. If the Lord eats everything, I will not get anything. Right? There is a hesitation to even give to the Lord. Right? That's our problem. If we wholeheartedly accept the Lord is ready to wholeheartedly accept us also. Right? So let's pray to the Supreme Lord so that he changes our mind. He takes charge of our mind. Let the Lord take charge of our mind and direct us. Let the Lord become director of our life. And let him direct us towards him and let him accept us. So that can be our humble prayer in front of the Lord, in front of all the Vaishnavas and Acharyas, so that they show some mercy upon us, so that we also get one drop of devotion and we become eligible for the Lord's mercy. Right? Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Sri Ram Navami Maha Mahotsav ki, Gaur Premanande. I guess there are no questions because we had mostly Katha. So if there are any comments, any questions? Yes, Prabhu. I see Yugal Kishore Prabhu saying like this. What should I do? You please direct me.
One question.
One question? Okay, Prabhu raised his hand first. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Yes.
Thank you so much for the wonderful katha. You were mentioning about speaking harsh words and the power that harsh words have, and how much negativity that can bring about. But there are situations, for example, just getting stuck in Bangalore traffic or somebody just driving recklessly. How do we control that time? Where it is, let's say if it's morning time, we have just done our sadhana and everything, mind is still cool and calm, but while returning from office, mind is like very agitated, and that time if you get stuck specifically and if somebody is driving in a stupid way, curse words do come out of the how do we control that?
Yeah, you scold somebody, somebody scolds you. That's what is happening in Bangalore traffic. Right? Yeah, material life is quite tough for anybody to stay here. It is not possible to actually live peacefully without scolding anybody. Right? That's inevitable, so to say. Right? But if we scold, the repercussions that we get also needs to be thought about. First thing we need to understand, saying that city life is not a place to live. It is not a place to live actually. It is my choice. Out of my own choice I came here. Even now we all have a choice to get out of Bangalore. Right? You can go out of Bangalore. Right? I'm not recommending you to go out. Right? Our acharyas say that go and stay in a city for the purpose of preaching Krishna consciousness. You want to have a peaceful life, go to the forest and chant Hare Krishna. That's what our acharyas say. Right? So we are all here as devotees of the Supreme Lord. We are all here to please our acharyas in the form of preaching the Lord's message, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu's message. So we need to actually go out and preach Krishna consciousness here. And on the course of attempt to preach, we will also have struggles in facing the problems of city life. We need to accept it. It is just like how we have to actually, in the course of preaching, we will have a lot of difficulties also. Same way, Bangalore traffic also needs to be accepted, as this is what the Lord has made me for me, let me accept it. Right? But at the same time, you can go and scold somebody also, but don't scold it from your heart. Right? If they are also in the same problem which you are also facing. You may be in a hurry to go and reach your destination. They are also in a hurry to go reach some destination. Like you see the pathetic situation of these delivery boys. They have a very tough life. They have to drive in the road all through the day, which nobody likes to drive. Right? So it is very tough job to actually go inside, go drive. And everybody, they have some purpose for driving in the road, because nobody without a purpose venture into Bangalore traffic. Right? They have a purpose, and for that purpose they also came in. And they may be also in a hurry. And for their hurry they may take some shortcuts and they may come in between you. Right? And when we are in a hurry, we come in between them also. Sometimes. This is how life is. So we need to understand that the more we can control our tongue, our mind. All are diseased people. I am also a diseased person. They are also diseased people. And this is bound to happen when two crazy people interact. Right? I am crazy. They are crazy. When both of them come, problems will come for sure. Right? So in fact, a spiritually advanced person looks at all these things and then he laughs. Oh, why all these people are so crazy? They laugh at these crazy people, in fact. So the more we actually mature in Krishna consciousness, the more we see how people are suffering here in this material world. The more we see how people are suffering here in this material world, the more we actually feel saying that, oh, they are all suffering here because they are not taken shelter of the Supreme Lord. If they take shelter of the Supreme Lord, then all their problems will at once be solved. Because people will not go outside in the road for going to movies then. People will not go outside in the road to go and enjoy in some restaurant. If they all become devotees. Unnecessary road travels will be avoided completely. See how even Krishna consciousness brings peace. Materially also it can actually bring lot of harmony there. But that's not going to happen. Like Prabhupada, once one devotee asked Prabhupada saying that, how will it will be that the whole world transforms and everybody becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord? So much of peace will actually prevail here. But Prabhupada said, don't worry, that will not happen. Right? So there will always be problems. There will always be Ravanas in this material world. So this is bound to happen. Material world means this kind of problem will be there. But if we give out our word, we participate in it. You control your tongue, you can safeguard yourself. Just like one devotee shared this nice story. I'll just finish with this. That one person took a taxi and he was actually going in the taxi, and while he was going in the taxi, one garbage truck suddenly made a turn and came this car's way. And he came in that car's way. This person had to put a sudden brake, stop himself, and then he got down. He was about to scold that garbage truck driver. But on a contrast, the garbage truck driver got down. He started abusing that taxi driver very heavily. He was like wondering, what mistake did I do? This garbage truck driver is scolding me. But this taxi driver was keeping quiet and he was listening to all the words, that shit that this person was speaking. He was listening all these things. He didn't speak even one word. Then this passenger who was sitting in the taxi driver, he got down. He asked this taxi driver, you never made a mistake, and that person is scolding you so heavily and you did not even utter one word. So for that, the taxi driver said, had I spoke against him, all the garbage that he had would have actually fallen upon me. It would have impacted my heart very severely. I would have got all the garbage in my heart. That person was carrying all garbage in his heart and his truck also. He downloaded all the garbage that he had in his heart and his truck on me. Had I spoken anything, that garbage would have influenced me also severely. Now I didn't speak anything, that garbage did not influence me. I safeguarded myself by doing that. So that's what the taxi driver spoke. So then the passenger understood the reality. You go and speak some garbage, instead you get more garbage out inside. Right? So we need to deal with all these material things little carefully. So the more carefully we deal with material things, the more it will be aiding us for our spiritual advancement. So we need to see what we need in our life. Right? If we need Krishna, then we have to tolerate all these things in material life. If we need something else, we are free to do anything in this material life. So if you want Krishna, then tolerate. Because Vaishnavas are supposed to tolerate. By tolerating, we advance. Right? By speaking, you decide what will happen. Alright? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you. Hare Krishna.